My apologies, didn't try to hand that gavel back to you too quickly. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We got 4 items on the agenda for the PDB meeting. The first is a public hearing and recommendation for second reading regarding a rezoning request, number 926, for Jake Pennery to rezone 13.84 acres located on Highway 78 near Ridgeville, TMS number 098-00-00-090, from agricultural residential district AR to commercial light industrial district CLI. I will open the public hearing.
Yes, sir. This first rezoning for your consideration is for, as you noted, a 13.84 acre piece of property. This is located on Highway 78. This is up in that Ridgeville corridor. So if you look at the map on the left, you can see at the very upper left is a purplish color. That's the Ridgeville Industrial Park. And then just further down on the right side of the map to the east is a property that was recently rezoned to commercial light industrial at the intersection of Highway 78 and Stable Lane. So this is in an area where we're seeing, we have existing industry already. We're seeing other parcels shift to industrial as well. The property meets all the requirements for commercial light industrial district. It is located within an employment mixed-use district designation on the future land use of the comprehensive plan, so this is fully compliant with the comprehensive plan. And the intent is for these lighter industrial, heavier commercial type uses that we've been seeing in this area. They did provide a conceptual site plan to us at staff, which indicates traffic movement patterns on there, which all complies with our requirements. And it will still have to go through technical review process to meet all of our requirements and stormwater and transportation requirements before it gets approved. But we reviewed it, we recommended approval. Planning Commission looked at it in December. They also recommended approval.
Thank you, Ms. Reinerson. Are there any others that would like to speak? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing and recommendation for second reading regarding rezoning request number 927 for George Tupper III to rezone 6.26 acres located on 754 Orangeburg Road near Somerville, TMS number 144-00-00-038 and -178 from single-family residential district R2 to neighborhood commercial district CN. I will open the public hearing.
Yes, sir. This rezoning request is for just over 3.5 acres. It's located along Orangeburg Road. There's already an existing daycare on one of the parcels. This is for 2 separate parcels. It's currently zoned R2. Both of the parcels are R2. They take their access not actually off of Orangeburg, but off of Sunburst Way at the entrance there to Sunburst. They're looking to go to neighborhood commercial, which would bring the existing daycare into compliance with the zoning regulations. It would also allow for an expansion of commercial opportunities along there. The future land use, a portion of this is natural riparian corridor, but that portion of the property is already encumbered with wetlands, we anticipate, so that's not likely to develop. The remaining of the portion of the property is medium-density traditional neighborhood. So the neighborhood commercial designation complies with the future land use map. We looked at it. We had no conflicts, recommended approval. It went to Planning Commission again at their December meeting. They also recommended approval.
Thank you, Ms. Reinerson. At this time, I'll open up for any public comments. Anybody would like to speak on this? You have 3 minutes. Mr. Fagan, just name and address, please, sir.
Tommy
Thank you, Ms.
Fagan,
Reinerson.
111 Ponderosa Road, Somerville, South Carolina. That's along the corridor there. We got 2 neighborhoods getting ready to fire up right across the street almost. Traffic is totally off the chain there. I mean, it's very congested. under the CN designation, they'd be able to put apartments all on that if they put an office for the apartment building in each one. How many apartments could they put there? Given the state of Orangeburg Road right now and the congestion on Orangeburg Road, I would ask that you not approve this right now and come back maybe with something, well, of a commercial district there where apartments couldn't be put there. I'd sure appreciate y'all's consideration. Thank y'all.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else like to speak?
Mr. Ryerson? Oh,
Yep, please. If anybody else after Ms. Ryerson, you're welcome to come forth to share your thoughts.
Do you all have any questions for me?
so I think the only thing I want to qualify on that is the entrance is actually there on Orangeburg Road. If you look at that loop right there in the front, it is almost at the property line between the larger property at the top and the bottom property, and it's kind of, it's a long ways, because that's the Toy Box Daycare is what that is.
Yes.
So I had grandchildren there, so
Gotcha.
I know what that is. But it does come down along, kind of almost a frontage from that standpoint.
Right.
And a loop around there, so.
Right.
And R2 would add potentially a number of homes in that residential, single-family residential on there, as opposed to a neighborhood commercial in that zoning district.
That is correct. You
so,
could build homes on R2.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for the clarification, because this is in line with the other parcels there along that road with potential, I think, two things: less homes and more commercial business along that corridor.
Correct.
And again, the item is the Toy Box actually comes into compliance.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yes.
So there's two bonus pieces for that. Okay. Anybody else? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and I have a motion.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing, a recommendation for second reading regarding rezoning request number 928 for Janet Lieber to rezone 2.12 acres located on Highway 78 near Ridgeville, TMS number 098-00-00-240, from Agricultural Residential District AR to Commercial Light Industrial District CLI. I will open the public hearing.
Yes, sir. This next rezoning is for just over 2 acres to go from agricultural residential to commercial light industrial. It's in a similar area to the one that we saw first on the agenda. This is up in that Ridgeville area along the Highway 78 corridor. So this is right near Wagon Trail. It's also right by Campbell Thicket. You can see in the map on the left, all that commercial light industrial. Again, that was a recent rezoning. We've had discussions about Campbell Thicket as well recently. So this still falls in that same employment mixed-use corridor. We'd be evaluating access plans there, trying to limit access off of Wagon Trail, as we would consider Wagon Trail to be residential roads. So we'd be looking for access off of Highway 78. But the lot meets all the requirements for commercial light industrial and is in alignment with the other uses that we're seeing in this area. So staff recommended approval. It went before Planning Commission in December, and Planning Commission also recommended approval.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ryerson. Anyone like to speak in public hearing? Yes, sir. Come on up. Give us your name and address, please, sir. You have 3 minutes.
Jake Serrano, 121 Misty Waters Court, Somerville, South Carolina. I work for Ms. Lieber and Mr. Roddy Matthews, who is here today with me, one of the owners. And we had developed a conceptual plan for this site, and we had submitted that to the DOT, and they have approved the access for this particular property. I have it here with me if y'all are interested in looking for it. It's also been submitted in the packet. to
We've got it.
Yes, sir. We
the
got a
planning
copy.
department. I'm here to answer any questions you might have for me.
Good.
Gentlemen.
I don't have any.
I'm good too.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
3 in favor, none opposed. It is unanimous. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a request for approval of roadway connection to Beverly Drive for Bowman Consulting Group LTD. I will open the presentation.
There you go. So this is a connectivity request. We've seen a few of these, not a whole lot over the years, but so this subdivision is being developed within the town of Somerville. So Planning Commission for the town of Somerville is reviewing this, or it's going through that process. This is for a 59 or 53 unit townhouse community. It's at the intersection of Miles Jamison Road at Beverly Drive. The reason it's coming before you all is because the road connection is proposed to tie into Beverly Drive, which is a county-maintained road. If you'll remember, a couple years ago, we put in the requirement that when roads in other jurisdictions tie into county roads, that it would come before council for approval. So that's what you see in front of you is the site plan that is currently under review with the town of Somerville. You can see the connection to Beverly Drive. There is an emergency access also proposed to Miles Jamison as part of the subdivision. They did do a traffic impact analysis as part of their process. It did not identify any improvements that would be needed. 53 units is not determined to be a large enough generator in order to require dedicated turn lanes. It also anticipated that the majority of movements coming into and out of the neighborhood would be utilizing Beverly Drive up to Miles Jamison at that intersection where there is a traffic light. It was not anticipated that this would generate any noticeable traffic along Beverly Drive headed back out towards Old Trolley. So, I mean, we've reviewed it against the conditions that we have for the connectivity request. It's a very basic request, and putting it all before you all to evaluate. We don't have any concerns. We're looking at an approval for it because the traffic's going to be negligible, and the majority of the traffic will use that signalized intersection. So, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and there is a representative here in case you all have questions.
I've got a couple.
I've got a couple. I guess the first one is, and I know that it's noted in here, curbing tie-in to the section of Beverly Drive that has the 3 lanes, as opposed to it being basically dirt to asphalt right there. Improvements, I don't even know the condition of the road at that point, what it looks like. Now I see it. So are they repaving that section to bring it up with the additional traffic in there?
I am not aware, but again, the representative may be better able to answer that question.
And the second question I've got is if we go back to the previous, with the potential to widen Miles Jamison Road, that should be included in this from a easement standpoint on either side? I know that road is a little bit wider there, and I'm just looking at that because obviously that's a road that's impacted from that standpoint.
They are taking into consideration, there is a future right-of-way line that is shown on the plans, so they do have that taken into consideration.
Okay, so they're going to be aware that all those townhouses are going to have, they're not going to expect a sound wall on that. I'm looking, because you ain't getting one, so.
Thank you, Mr. Ryerson.
My name is Tom Wallington, Vice President of Land Development for Beazer. This is a Beazer Homes community. So the part that faces out to Miles Jamison is the front of the townhomes. They're rear loaded, very similar to the Lennar project in the Knightsville area. So the plan on that side was to not only have the right-of-way dedication, but also maintain a lot of those existing trees that you can see and fill in with them. So we're really using that natural buffer, and that was part of the work with the town of Somerville to kind of give that a better front door experience and kind of side entry on those couple townhomes that face out towards Beverly. So we really were looking for that to have a better experience on that.
And I noted that the further entrance down on Miles Jamison is not an open entrance. It is an,
On Miles Jamison, that's just fire access.
okay,
Yeah, so that'll be like a grasscrete, kind of not used for anything.
okay. But not connected, physically connected. It's
Not
just-
connected for any vehicular traffic,
Okay.
just emergency vehicles.
Gotcha, okay. All right. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Fairman, Mr. Friddle.
I'm a little bit worried about the condition of the road on Beverly. What was your community road? Is that the one you keep bringing up?
I did not bring it up today, but Community Road is ultimately, unfortunately, in the CTC, as a request from the town of Somerville to repave Community Road, which was a ROC type road with 2 inches of asphalt, that the contractor that did it for the county so that we weren't scraping that road laughed when I told him that they were building a large townhouse development off of that. I got to figure out who built that townhouse. It was back
I'm just thinking about the construction, it'll
Because
probably
again-
the construction entrance on that with the trucks and everything going, condition of the road after all the,
And again, it's been repaved at least at the very front recently where, when they straightened the road out and got it, but the road looks like it's in,
can you throw the road back up there for me, please?
yeah, I think you can see a little bit of my concern from the standpoint of the condition of the road. I can see the patches on either side. And again, it's primarily the largest development that uses that road in and out are the Bridges of Somerville, which is in the town of Somerville. And I know that Bridges had new roads, but Beverly out of Jamison Terrace was not repaved. And they're going to be going to CTC next, asking for money to repave that one because the developers added additional traffic to it, but it's not being paved. So I think that's a question that I would like to have answered, what that possibility is of cost sharing or something like that at the bare minimum of trying to redo that road.
We'd be glad to talk to the town of Somerville about that. I know that we would, and you can see from the other plan.
Well, you don't have to talk to the town necessarily about that one ultimately, because that is a county-maintained road.
That's right.
So that's why you're here, is because that's a
Right.
county-maintained road.
No, I
So, and the
understand.
challenge ultimately is
Yeah.
the impact that we have had at times from town developments on county-maintained roads
Right.
that are less than ideal. A community road. I didn't bring it up to begin with, but again.
I threw that grenade this time.
Yeah, that's all right. That becomes a challenge because it was townhouses that were built on a road that wasn't ever intended to have townhouses on there. And now the county taxpayers are paying for it again because it wasn't paved as it should have been by the developer to make that attachment, nor was any of the other things that they told us they were going to do as far as clearing the view shed to the left or right. So you pull out a community road, you're taking your life in your hands to pull out on a Miles Jamison at this point in time. This one, at least, I can't hold that against you because you got a traffic light there, but
Right. There's a traffic light, there's the power line that runs along the edge that you can see, which gives a lot of visibility.
and that's not a problem. I'm not worried about the view at that point in time.
Yeah.
The view is fine. The condition of the road is the one that concerns me more than anything else.
And we'd be willing to work on kind of the phasing of the construction entrance to kind of pave back through the right-of-way and not kind of run stone all the way out. That kind of gets that construction entrance farther into the project as a sequencing element to kind of help keep all of that construction basically back in towards the clearing limit.
Because I'm assuming you guys are pulling dump trucks in there to raise the pads and all that other good stuff. That road is not in a
It-
condition to,
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
Yeah.
we can go ahead and get ourselves farther in. We can work with the county staff in terms of looking at the road before and after for any damages that we create.
Mr. Myers, is there any other development that could possibly go in that road? Is it still besides that property?
On Beverly? But I don't believe they've come in for an encroachment permit yet. Is that right? I don't think you've come in for.
That we're here for Not, we haven't requested the encroachment permit. We're asking for the right-of-way first. Yeah. Sorry, right-of-way
But
first.
that could be addressed, I think,
Yeah.
that section of Beverly Drive as part of the encroachment permit process.
So the question was brought up just for the folks participating online. The encroachment permit is being processed through the application currently and would be addressed in terms of resurfacing or needed improvements.
Right, if the connection is allowed, they come in for an encroachment permit, we could address that as part of that.
Gotcha. So just a couple of things from me, real quick. There is a gap. If you'll go back to that initial schematic for me that we discussed that I recognized, yeah, right there. The curb cuts in terms of like the, runoff, there was a gap before you turned into, it seemed like you guys ended where you would turn into the development, just something to look at potentially, as well as potential sidewalk connectivity. It appears that you have those internally, but with the Miles Jamison improvements, would there be
Right.
something to consider to connect to that sidewalk in hopes of
Right.
getting additional vehicular traffic off the road so these folks can walk up to the Food Lion or
And that was.
Walmart or.
Right. That was actually brought up by the town, that the sidewalk system that you see on here be planned to extend out to anything on Miles Jamison, along with, you can see the sidewalk comes to the right of way, you can kind of see, the sidewalk comes to the right of way on Beverly.
Yep.
But, that can connect to wherever we need to connect it to.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I would, I mean, you can connect it if you want to Miles Jamison, but I was thinking if I was a resident, I'd rather have the connectivity to Beverly than walk up the
Right.
sidewalk to Miles Jamison and then so forth. The other thing, if you've got a nice little retention pond and it looks like some beautification space, do you guys have any some impervious trails for the
We don't have impervious
residents?
trails. The goal or the amenity plan was just that the walkway system was a loop and continuous, that you could use that, you could walk your dog, you could kind of get into the green space. We worked hard to save as many of the trees that we possibly could along the outside and around the pond area so that it does have, not clear cut, knocked down, but what the trees that were quality were the ones we were saved and the other ones ended up coming out.
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman, I'm guessing the amenity plan for that is Pine Trace Park.
possibly. But I think that would be a nice little
That
value
and-
add
and, yeah, and
for your
bus-
community. Certainly for those folks, if you wove that into the plan
Yep.
for that little
We can do
gravel
that.
walkability around that pond, fishing, kids, the like. So that's all I have. Any other comments, questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reinison. Appreciate you. All right.
So I will move to approve the roadway connection pursuant to the, encroachment permit. I'll get it out in a minute, but pursuant to the encroachment permit, and I'm sure that we will be able to address at least some of this stuff from that standpoint within that.
Is there a second?
I'll second that one.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, it passes unanimous. Any other motions?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. We are adjourned.
Good. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to temporarily stop the Dexter Mack Fan Club meeting, and we will call to order at this time the Public Works Property and 3rd, 2025. We have one item on the agenda. We have previously had invocation to open the previous committee meeting, so we'll get going here. The item on the agenda is recommendation for a second reading of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances, Dorchester County, South Carolina, by deleting Chapter 36, Article 6, Section 36-180, subsections A, subsection 1, and substituting in lieu thereof a new section 36-180 subsection A subsection 1 so as to clarify the applicability of the stormwater utility fee to the parcels of land connecting one or more single-family residential structures. And again, this is for recommendation for a second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion specifically, Mr. Ward, do you want to speak to this in any way, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Hearn, other council members, this is a situation where we've had the stormwater fee in place. We have single-family dwellings. If there's more than one dwelling on a single parcel, fee should be charged for each dwelling, similar to what is charged right now also for mobile homes that are in that situation. This was a mistake that was found. This is the way that we charge currently, and we're going about making this change prior to sending out the bills next year.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Good. All right, hearing none. And what is the pleasure of the committee? We're good? All right, all in favor, please raise their hand. It is unanimous. How about one more motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Let's see, all in favor, please raise their hand. We are adjourned. Easy enough.
On the agenda tonight, a request for approval of new sewer service by Lennar Carolinas LLC for mixed-use development, TMS number 152-00-00-014, 152-00-00-016, and 152-15-10-002, located on Dorchester Road in the town of Somerville. Is there a?
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second? There is a motion and a second. Any discussion?
The usual question. Are we able to do this where, let's see, Mr. Harper, we good there in terms of,
Yes, sir. This is an additional phase.
okay? I think that's what everybody always wants to know, so thank you.
And I'll add to that. We moved this from the last meeting to this meeting based on my requests, because this property abuts directly against the the 102 acres that the county purchased behind the new Dorchester County Library at the Ashley River. Based on the physical structure of the property, wetlands, and everything else, there is probably a natural buffer, and it doesn't appear to be that they are butting up against that from that standpoint. So that answered my question relatively quickly. Is there any other? All in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous. Is there any other motions?
Motion adjourned.
There is a motion.
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned. About 2 minutes, and we will get One more time. I want to call this March 3rd Dorchester County Council meeting to order. I'll ask if everyone will please rise. Councilman Crosby will lead us in the invocation, and afterwards we'll remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, gracious God, we come before you this evening full of joy, full of anxiety, full of all kinds of emotions, Lord. We just pause to give thanks for your goodness and for your sovereignty over certainly this meeting, this community, this state, and this country, and this world, Lord. And we lean on your word that says, trust not in our own understanding. And so, Lord, we put our trust and hope in you, in your assurances, and we place our feet firmly on the rock. Lord, as we lift up those in this room, as we celebrate them tonight, that you get all the glory and honor. Praise do your name, Lord. And we also ask for our firefighters across this great state fighting and battling the wildfires in both South Carolina and North Carolina, Father. And we just ask that you steady their hand and put a hedge of protection around those men and women, the first responders, the EMTs, EMS, police, all those folks that are fighting to save property and lives, Lord God. And we just ask that you, again, put that hedge of protection around them. Father, we also ask deeply for guidance and wisdom for the leaders of this nation, for the state, for my colleagues here on council, Lord God, that you would fill us with your spirit, that we may make decisions that are glorifying and honoring to you and good for this community. So, Father, we welcome you here in the power of your Spirit to lead and guide us this evening and always. Lord, take not your Spirit from us. We ask this humbly and boldly in the mighty name of Jesus, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And all God's people said,
Amen.
Thank you. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess I should pull that down. You can probably hear me without it, but I'll make it official. First item on the agenda is an adoption of minutes from the February 18th, 2025 County Council meeting.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is the presentation of the 2024 Fourth Quarter Employee of the Quarter Award to Ms. Kathy Champion, Dorchester County Administrator's Office, and First Responder of the Quarter Award to Mr. Joe, I'm gonna probably screw this one up, Joe, I apologize, Joe Salucci, Dorchester County Emergency Medical Services Department. And we're gonna ask if you folks will come to the front. Mr. Ward?
Yes. Employee of the Quarter, Catherine Champion, County Administrator's Office. For the third consecutive year, Kathy has been instrumental in helping to organize the Do More Christmas campaign. The past 2 years, the county has partnered with the Salvation Army's Angel Tree Gift Donation Program, and Kathy has spent countless hours coordinating with donors, private sector, and employees, meticulously inspecting each gift bag to ensure each child has the appropriate gifts and assisting in the distribution of bags to family members. With Kathy's leadership, last year, more than 300 children in the county received Christmas gifts through the program. When she's not helping with Do More Christmas, Kathy is a fantastic resource in the Human Resources Building, to the Administrator's Office and other departments. Kathy provides outstanding customer service and is always willing to step in and help a fellow employee. She brings a lot of positive energy to the organization and contributes to making Dorchester County a great place to work. Thank you, Ms. Kathy Champion, for your dedication to Dorchester County and our citizens.
We're going to hang out just a few more minutes. Hang out just a
First responder of the quarter, Joe, and I'm making sure I'm saying this right, Chalucci?
Yes.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Salucci, sorry, Joe. On August 19th, 2025, Medic 4 was dispatched to a request for service for 2 patients, both complaining of chest pain. Upon arrival, the crew found a grandmother and her granddaughter who had been evicted from their motel for inability to continue payment for their room. Paramedic Crew Chief Joe assessed the situation with the patients and determined that the grandmother's complaint of chest pain warranted a transport for evaluation based upon his findings and her cardiac history. It was determined the grandmother would not need further assessment for treatment at a facility. Her primary issue was the stress of not having anywhere to stay and concern for her, I'm sorry, I think I messed this up. It was determined the granddaughter would not need further assessment or treatment at a facility. Her primary issue was the stress of not having anywhere to stay and her concern for her grandmother. Mr. Salucci learned the ladies were traveling from out of state and headed to another state when the person assisting them in their travels abandoned them at the night's end and took a large sum of their money, causing the stress of both ladies. While Mr. Salucci met his responsibilities related to medical assessment, treatment, and care, he went above and beyond that care prior to initiating the transport of the older female. Mr. Salucci met with the motel manager and negotiated a discount rate, paid for 3 nights of accommodations. He also gave the younger female $20, the remaining cash in his wallet, or he would have provided them with even more. Sometimes other types of care is just as important to people as the medical care EMS provides. We want to express our sincere appreciation and thanks to Joe for his service and care to the residents and visitors of Dorchester County. Congratulations.
Council, I'm gonna get y'all, if you'll meet me down here at the podium, we'll hand them their certificates, and we may see some of them again. Come up here and get a photo. EMS, can we get a separate photo? Anybody, coworkers? Nobody's jumping up. We may get to see at least one of them again, so. The next item on the agenda is, I have to put my glasses on to get it right here, but the next item on the agenda is adoption of a proclamation number 2502 proclaiming Dexter Mack as Dorchester County 2024 Employee of the Year. State of South Carolina, County of Dorchester, proclamation number 2502, proclaiming Mr. Dexter Mack as Dorchester County's 2024 Employee of the Year. Whereas it is right and fitting to express our appreciation to Mr. Dexter Mack and honor him for his 17 years of dedicated service to the residents of Dorchester County. And whereas Mr. Mack currently serves as an office manager with Dorchester County Assessor's Office, where he performs and oversees unregistered vehicle investigations, enrollments of homestead exemptions, and customer service. And whereas Office Manager Dexter Mack is truly a servant leader. He is a dedicated public servant who works tirelessly, I can't even say that, exhibiting passion for his position. He performs his job with professionalism, compassion, and pride, going far beyond what is required in his role. And whereas Mr. Mack's dedication to his department and the citizens of Dorchester County is unmatched, his focus on the success of his department and the county is noteworthy. Now, therefore, Dorchester County Council hereby proclaims Office Manager Dexter Mack Dorchester County's 2024 Employee of the Year and commends him for his dedicated and outstanding service to Dorchester County. Adopted this third day. Oh, I am looking at that. That does say assessor's, not the auditor's office. Adopted this third day of March 2025 by David Chennis, Chairman, Dorchester County Council, attested by Lona R. Conrad, Clerk to Council.
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Well, he would probably make a great assessor's office employee, but indeed, he is a fantastic auditor's office employee. Dexter, we love you. Thank you so much for everything you do for the county and for the citizens of the county.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate it. The county auditor, I have seen him have cold sweats and break out in hives twice in my life. Once was a reaction to a medication that he had prescribed to him, and the other time was when Charleston County was trying to recruit Dexter Mack out of his office. So we appreciate everything Dexter does. Dexter is also looking to step up to potentially run for the town council, and that would be an incredible fit if that worked out. So we want to wish you the best of luck. But mostly, thank you for everything you've done for Dorchester County and the citizens here.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, congratulations, Dexter. I have never, and those of you who've had the, I guess, unfortunate privilege to come into the office for whatever reason to pay a bill or whatever, you have always greeted every customer, community member, anyone with a smile and a warm greeting. I've noticed you, even from afar, always bringing that personability, warm, welcoming spirit, and it just permeates throughout the office and even counters some of what your boss brings. But, we're working on him. So certainly keep up the great work. We're super proud of you, and congratulations.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say also, anytime I've ever come into the auditor's office, I see Dexter there, hard at work, and he's always pleasant and happy and willing to help everybody. And just the fact that you put up with JJ every day, you deserve a gold star.
Yes, sir. Dexter, you've been legendary. When I came on council, everybody said that's who you go to in the office there. And you keep JJ in line. You should get a raise just for that and combat pay on that same line. But we appreciate what you do. And I also hope in your next endeavor, stepping up, you'll be a wonderful addition to City Council. And good luck. And we appreciate all you do, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Dexter, I want to first express my appreciation for all you do for the community. The program that you work with Mr. Middleton to identify people to allow them to have a reliable transportation is extraordinary. You know my story, you know my sister's story. She's no longer able to drive, but you identified that program, and as a result of that, we were able to partner with you and Mr. Middleton to donate a car to a worthy person. But that's just who you are. You're always looking out for people. And we just greatly appreciate what you do, not just in your job, but also in the community. So thank you.
So, Dexter, I want you to stand up, if you will, and turn around. And you know this, but I'm going to do this. Everybody that came here tonight just for Dexter, would you stand up? So, I'm gonna, and I knew JJ had a couple words, but I want to, if you're ever feeling overworked, stressed, undervalued, come see Dexter. He'll make you think that you're really doing something worthwhile. I promise that. Mr. Meservey?
So the last time I stood up here, Dexter and my family were being honored the same night, and I cried. So I'm gonna try not to do that tonight. But
Not working?
Too late.
I just
Do your nose
finished
trick.
my cancer treatment last week.
There you go.
And, I had a lot of people that said that they would help me, and a lot of them meant it. But I had a lot of people also that said they would help me, and I asked them, and they did. Dexter never said that he would help me do anything. But he helped me out so much each day with like things that I didn't know, and you're going through that treatment and you hurt so bad. And there'd be days that I was like, God, I can't get up and I can't do this, and he would do it. Which included some late night stuff. He went and got my medicine, all kind of different stuff, you know, nothing work related, and it would be in the morning or evening. And I had a lot of good help. I had a lot of good help in the office, outside of the office, but Dexter literally knew what I needed sometimes before I knew what I needed. And I was able to get over a lot of the disappointment from because I was worried about asking people to help me by the fact that Dexter was so good and so welcoming and so helpful and whatever. So for me, I would just like us to give Dexter another standing round of applause.
And if I can get County Council to meet me down in there with Dexter, we will take a couple photos, and then we will let everybody else that wants to come up and try to get photos with Dexter. We may be here a little while, but you know what? That's okay. I'm gonna have to put that down first so I can do this.
Thank you.
All right. All right. You good? Now, who else needs pictures with Dexter? Yes. Come on. And we can get out of the picture for you, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, we'll slide back.
Come on over.
Hey, Mr. Brown, how you doing?
Yeah.
She's getting paid double.
Everybody got their wide angle lenses up?
Just smile. Money. Yeah, money. Because who smiles for cheese? But you smile more for money. Now you can all go have dinner. On deck.
How are you?
Good, and you?
What's that?
Susan Davis, 1 year, 1 day.
Oh, wow. That might be the largest group shot we've ever tried to take in here, but it's expected, so.
Yes.
I don't want anybody to leave because we got one more. We've got one more very important one to present tonight, and this is the adoption of a proclamation number 25-03 proclaiming Joe Salucci as Dorchester County's 2024 First Responder of the Year, and Councilwoman Rank's going to read that proclamation.
Okay, proclamation number 25-03, proclaiming Mr. Joe Salucci as Dorchester County's 2024 First Responder of the Year. Whereas it is right and fitting to express our appreciation to Mr. Joseph and honor him for his dedicated service to the residents of Dorchester County, and whereas Mr. Joseph currently serves as a paramedic crew chief with Dorchester County Emergency Medical Service, where he provides oversight and guidance to paramedic crew members, advanced EMTs, and basic EMTs, and whereas paramedic crew chief Joseph is truly a servant leader. He nobly serves a cause greater than himself, leaving the comforts of his home and family, demonstrating no mission is too hard and no challenge is too great. And whereas Mr. Joseph is a dedicated public servant who works tirelessly, providing care to the citizens of Dorchester County with empathy, humility, and compassion. He performs his job duties with professionalism and pride, going far beyond the scope of his job duties. And now, therefore, Dorchester County Council hereby proclaims Paramedic Crew Chief Joseph Salucci, Dorchester County's 2024 Responder of the Year, and commends him for his dedicated and outstanding service to Dorchester County. Adopted this third day of March 2025 by David Chinnis, Chairman, Dorchester County Council, attests Lona R. Conrad, Clerk to Council.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. We are unanimous. One last set of pictures. Oh, I guess no. I didn't take my job. Yeah, no. Never know.
Congratulations again. Outstanding. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're okay.
Congratulations, sir.
Out of bounds. He didn't know.
I about ruined it.
Love it.
You know I'm okay standing back here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. People talk bad about when they post. I was gonna sit in Jason's seat. There's two of the folks that people talk bad about when they talk about how bad the county employees are. I don't think they're all that bad myself, but in any case, that's my own opinion there. I appreciate everything that they do without question.
I think Dorchester County has great.
Great employees.
Here, here.
The next item on the agenda is adoption of proclamation number 2504, proclaiming March 2025 as Prescribed Fire Awareness Month in Dorchester County. Councilman Crosby is going to read that, and that actually tonight, just to be very clear, is going to be accepted by Dorchester County Fire Chief Trey Atkinson, because Darrell Jones, who is the Forest Fire Chief with South Carolina Forestry Commission, is obviously otherwise engaged today, and hopefully when you go home and none of your neighbors are burning in their yard or anything like that, because that way they would not be engaged in that manner. So, Mr. Crosby.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Proclaiming March 2025 as Prescribed Fire Awareness Month in Dorchester County. Whereas Dorchester County Council recognizes that prescribed fire provides multiple ecological, economic, and cultural benefits to the citizens of Dorchester County, and whereas prescribed fire is a traditional land management practice and public safety tool that helps prevent and lessen the severity of wildfires, reducing the loss of private property and saving lives while acting as a preventative measure, saving the taxpayers the cost and hazards to local public safety and firefighting officials. And whereas prescribed fire is a valuable tool used by forest landowners and managers in reducing hazardous fuels, reducing the risk of destructive wildfires, preparing sites for natural and artificial forest regeneration, improving access to and the appearance of land, and controlling detrimental insects and forest diseases. And whereas prescribed fire is used to restore and maintain fire-dependent ecosystems and to manage wildlife habitat for many species. And many rural economies depend on prescribed fire to manage habitat for game species whose hunting economy is vital to South Carolina. And whereas the South Carolina Forestry Commission is authorized by various state laws to control wildfires, administer burning laws, and provide forestry assistance, and the commission promotes prescribed burning as a valuable forest management tool. And whereas prescribed fire helps South Carolina's forests healthy, and those forests in turn provide ecological services such as clean air and clean water and contribute to the quality of life. And whereas prescribed fire practitioners provide public health benefits by burning under carefully planned weather conditions, reducing the unplanned smoke from wildfires, thus contributing to the air quality by promoting healthy forests that serve as airshed contributors. Whereas prescribed fire is a traditional land management tool in the South that has been practiced for thousands of years and is an integral part of South Carolina's cultural and natural heritage. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dorchester County Council hereby proclaims March 2025 as Prescribed Fire Awareness Month in Dorchester County, South Carolina, and urges air quality regulators to work closely with all state agencies and landowners to ensure a fair and balanced approach to smoke management. Adopted this third day of March 2025 by Chairman David Chinnis and attested Lona R. Conrad, clerk to council.
So moved.
There is a
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous. Chief, you want to meet us down there one time real quick?
He considered that one privileged. Yeah.
No more fires, no more fires. Thank you, man.
You think I need to do that?
Bring that up, David.
Yeah.
You think I need to do that?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Chief, on behalf of, or Dorchester County, on behalf of the South Carolina Forestry Commission, we'll let Chief Atkinson tell us a little bit about what they did this weekend.
So just for knowledge, we ran 21 calls on Saturday. And the type of calls we're running are ones that have spread out into somebody's, burning their leaves, burning the trash barrel, and something that unintentionally got into the woods. Well, this prescribed burn cleans that underbrush out so that you don't have those problems that don't spread as fast. You saw the horrific fires in Horry County this past couple of days that we were able to send help up to help them a little bit. But that's a lot of that underbrush in those wooded areas that hadn't been cleaned out. And this is beside what this is for. So I think this is great for us to do that in the county. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. You ready? Thank y'all. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is request to address council. I have 5 items here, and I'm going to go through here. I'm going to ask you to come up to the front, state your name and address, and you have up to 3 minutes to speak. Ms. Linda Wetzel?
My name is Linda Wetzel. I live at 108 Atlantic Street in Somerville. My problem is, what does it take to get the roads fixed? I've been driving from Somerville all the way to Monk's Corner on 17A. You've got so many potholes. You fix the potholes, and it makes a bump. It's not level. You've got other potholes. How many potholes does it take for you to resurface the whole road? Because you can't even drive on the right side of the road because of all the potholes. Just today, I heard you put 53 houses is going to be on Miles Road. You're building all the houses, but our roads are really messed up. It's tearing up my car, and you don't pay for it. The highway department will not pay for it. I've called Dorchester County to see whether or not, why they don't fix the potholes better. They send me to the state send me back. That's plain phone thing. I'm tired of it. The road is so bad. And also, you can't even see the lines on the road because the road is worn down. The strips are worn down. When it's raining, it's very bad driving on the highways because you can't see where you're going. The lines are not on the road. Fix the roads in Dorchester. The whole state need to have their highways fixed. What kind of asphalt are you using? It's not substantial to fix the road. What are we paying for? You're doing it every 6 months? A pothole here, a pothole there? How many? 10 potholes I've counted on one little side of the road. A block almost. What are you doing with the money? We need better roads. You put down parks, you put down fishing ponds, but we don't have roads to drive on. You're messing up your cars, front end alignments, tire alignments. Come on, do your job. You sit down there and you just pay for every little little thing that don't need to be, but we can't drive on the roads because of the decisions that you make. Nobody do their work. The sensors on my car, the tires are all messed up. Pothole here, pothole there. Even on Palmetto Commerce Road, it's the same way. These big trucks and all this traffic is not sufficient for these roads because they don't, the wear and tear. Somebody got to do something.
Thank you.
Let's do something about
Next is Mr. Tommy Fagan.
Good evening, Tommy Fagan, 111 Ponderosa Road. Yes, I just wanted to ask County Council about, I'm looking at the Orangeburg Road, that 6.26 acres on Orangeburg Road, that in between Knightsville and Embassy Drive there. There's a couple of neighborhoods getting ready to kick off there. It's been, in the earlier meeting, they approved it for CN. And is there some way of removing multifamily residential from commercial neighborhood? When you approve CN, you're giving them a back door to put an office in each one of those buildings and build multifamily apartments all along there. The roads are already overstressed, and you know, the guy, I hope he can sell it for commercial property and put nice businesses there, doctor's offices, whatever, but we don't need any more houses right now on Orangeburg until we get a few things done. As I've spoken before, people have been dying on Orangeburg Loop. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Next on the list is Ms. Susan Gage.
Good evening. I'm Susan Gage, 114 Phoebe Road, Carillon at the Pond, Somerville. Tonight I'd like to speak about doing the right thing. Tonight I'd like to share a deep concern that I have about the Ponds Conservancy. Nexen Pruitt attorney Nicole Scott stated in a letter to Dorchester County Director Kira Reinerston on December 13th, 2024, that this letter serves as written documentation that the property owner, KH Ponds, LLC, is in compliance with all applicable sections of the development agreement. Clearly, Jeff Vanderweel, CEO of the Ponds Conservancy, didn't communicate to the attorney they are in violation of the development agreement with Dorchester County. Under the development agreement amendment, May 1st, 2023, it states under 5.5E, Environmental Protection, the Ponds Conservancy shall appoint at least one resident of the ponds to serve on the foundation board. There is no one on the Ponds Conservancy Board since early 2024, and today is March 3rd, 2025. Now, I just want to share a few facts with you. The Ponds Conservancy is listed as a nonprofit organization. It's funded by a conservancy fee that all ponds homeowners paid when closing on their home. When you read the Ponds Conservancy Charter, it sounds wonderful that there will be an environmental stewardship plan, education and enrichment and outreach programs. Jeff Vanderweel is listed as the CEO. There are no governing documents or bylaws. There is not a homeowner on the Conservancy Board. South Carolina Secretary of State suspended their nonprofit status on April 29, 2024. They have failed to submit financial statements for 2022 and 2023. They owe fines to South Carolina Secretary of State. They also were expired in the past for not filing financial statements in previous years, and fines were owed. I've shared my concerns with my county council representatives, Mr. Byers and Mr. Hearn. I've informed Chairman Chinnis, Mr. Friddle, Mr. Ward, and Ms. Reinerston. Mr. Byers, thank you for your email that stated you have Dorchester County Legal reviewing the document for the county's role in enforcing the Conservancy. I really do appreciate that. Honestly, I don't know and understand how a developer can completely ignore what they said they would do for homeowners and Dorchester County when they signed a legal development agreement and then choose to violate it. Where's the good faith from Jeff Vanderweel and KH Ponds, LLC, to the Ponds homeowners and Dorchester County? It appears that Jeff Vanderweel and KH Ponds feel that they don't have to do the right thing. I can only ask that Dorchester County will enforce this violation of the development agreement.
Thank you, ma'am. Next is Mr. Rick Price.
Rick Price, Phoebe Road, the Ponds. I'm going to repeat
One-
some.
116.
One-
116.
116, yes. I'm going to repeat some of the same things that Susan said. This is my, checking my records, is about my 11th time before you folks. In May 2023, there was agreements between the county and Coulter to the development agreement and to the Planned Development District guidelines. There are numerous changes, but I'll only focus on the one, that there will be a resident on the Conservancy Board. There hasn't been for a year. The property manager there for First Services, Chris Kontriak, emailed me today and said there is a resident on the board. I won't give you his name. I then texted this person and asked him, are you on the Conservancy? Absolutely not. I never have been. I was asked but desired not to serve, so I was lied to. Furthermore, Mr. Kontriak told me at a meeting Susan and I attended that since me or any resident of the Ponds are not considered Conservancy members, we're not entitled to review or see any financial information. 17 years of Conservancy transfer fees at closing amount to better than $1 million. And we're being told we can't review any of the financials. Total insanity. The Director of Planning for Dorchester County, 11/24, sent a letter to Coulter asking for their compliance review under South Carolina Law Section 63190. December 2024, Coulter said we're in full compliance through their attorneys. Obviously, they're not. Clearly, they're not. I asked the county to take legal action to cite them for violation of this legal agreement. We all know they're playing games here. They're delaying the school. They're delaying the second pool. And we're at our wits' end.
Thank you, sir. The last one tonight, Brian Reisen.
Hi. Brian Reisen, 152 Lots Drive out in the Ponds. It's been a while since I spoke to y'all. First, I'm going to start with something you're probably not used to hearing from me, and that's a sincere thank you. The red light's going in at the ponds. I can speak on my behalf and everybody there to say that that's going to greatly improve the safety of everybody driving through that intersection, in and out and past the pond. So, and I know it wasn't easy fighting the Department of Transportation. So I sincerely thank you for continuing the effort. It's going up. It's going to be lit up this week. Great work. I appreciate it. I'm also here to talk with my neighbors about the Ponds Conservancy. We've heard that Coulter self-verified they're in compliance. And that compliance includes the amendment that says there's a resident board member. How can you have a resident board member when it's a suspended conservancy? There is no board member because there's no board, there is no conservancy, according to the South Carolina State House records. So residents are each paying, upon closing, a conservancy fee. As Rick has said, his estimates are that should be probably over $1 million by now for the 20-some years the development's been in place and all the closings that have happened. So where's that money going? Maybe we should get Elon Musk into this. I don't know. But if there's a roughly $1 million, will it be around when development is done? when residents are scheduled to take over the Conservancy, what will be left? I don't think the account exists because I don't know a bank that will give an account to a non-existent organization. And history tells us Coulter rarely complies with development agreement until they're caught red-handed violating it and until somebody forces them to. I have tried that. I know that has failed. You know that has failed. I'm just asking that you ask for proof the Conservancy exists. Show us the board members. Show us some governing documents. Show us the meeting minutes, annual budget, something, anything. I work at Blackbaud. All our customers are nonprofit organizations. I'm intimately familiar with the requirements. There should be documentation at the State House records. They're required to file it. They say we're backlogged on some of the fees to the state. Well, that excuse, I believe I heard that about 9 or 10 years ago when they took it over from the last HOA. And they're doing it again. And I'm guessing they're draining the account dry of that $1 million. So just ask for some verification that it actually exists and they actually are in compliance before you sign off on their compliance and which is required to sign off on new phases of the development. And Sue is the great secretary. She has all the documentation. I know she shared it with plenty of you. So I won't beat that dead horse. But when that's all done, can we please also push them forward on the school property? Because schools are literally busting at the seams. Make them donate that land once and for all. They wouldn't even let them stake out the land the other day. Jeff Vanderwill kicked them off the property. So, as Rick said, they're toying with everybody. So, I appreciate your effort so far. Have a good night.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda are guests. And the first guests we have are Mr. Robert Benfield, South Carolina Association of Counties, presentation of a Risk Management and Safety Awards for Outstanding Safety Achievement from a Hearing Conservation Program and Sustained Excellence. Welcome, Mr. Benfield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Council. Thank you for allowing me to be with you all tonight to continue praising the efforts of your employees in your county for what you do for everyone. It's my pleasure tonight to talk about risk management and safety. Risk management is simply trying to keep bad stuff from happening. And it takes a team to make it successful. You can't have a, quote, county risk manager without everyone buying into the concept. This is at the employee level, the supervisor level, county administrator level, and county council backing the programs. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of coming before you to present other awards, acknowledging the achievements you've done. And once again tonight, I've got two things I'd like to discuss with you. The first is the county submitted a Outstanding Safety Achievement Award application for a hearing conservation program. Across the nation, thousands of employees every year go deaf from being exposed to noise levels at the workplace that are above what's safe for them. So this year, Dorchester County put together a program. They went out and monitored at the job sites the hearing levels. They talked to the employees. They put training programs together. All in all, the package that you put together on your program is the first I've seen in South Carolina or counties. Number one, that was a great program. Number two, it truly goes to what risk management is. It is protecting the greatest asset a county has. And as you all know and have bought into, the greatest asset a county has is its employees. So tonight I'd like to present an award to you for doing what it takes to support the conservation program, which resulted in hearing protection and being proactive in protecting the employees of Dorchester County. So that's number one award. Number two, part of your risk management program. Over the years, you have gotten the highest awards we can provide to you. Most Improved County, Sustained Excellence. Sustained Excellence means not only do you meet the basic standards for risk management, but you exceed them. And you have done this for year after year after year. That is not an easy concept in these hard times. So one of the results of having an excellent risk management program is saving money to the county employees and the county taxpayers. So as a result of your risk management program and support that it gets year after year, it's my pleasure tonight to tell you that you had a 16% reduction in your estimated losses. That resulted in a savings to your taxpayers of over $300,000 this year on your workers' comp premium. That is fantastic. So you're saving lives, your employees, you're saving your taxpayers money. You are doing everything that goes into place to have an incredibly excellent risk management program. Risk management is one of the few positions in a county that can actually save money. You're saving lives, you're saving time, you're saving money. So it's my pleasure tonight to award you the two programs. Thank you very much for your efforts and your support. And if you guys would, I'd like to come down and present these plaques to you guys, Nancy and Harvey.
So that's what I was going to make sure. We'll get Nancy, and unless county council feels a real huge urge to go down there and accept this. Let's let the folks that are actually doing this, and we'll get Nancy and Harvey up at the front and let them accept it on behalf of the department that's done this.
Can you guys give it? Thank you for your hard work.
We didn't do anything.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all for your support.
300. I want to thank you guys. I had the opportunity to attend the insurance trust meeting in Hilton Head, and got to see an outstanding presentation by Cliff Miller. And my administrator managed to get Cliff to come up here, and for those county employees that got to see Cliff, raise your hand, was it worth it? Yeah, easily. So thank y'all very much.
And I'll definitely let him know how you all feel about that. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, appreciate that. Appreciate you coming down tonight. Thank you.
Was it 300,000 or 360,000?
It actually was $312,000.
$312,000, that's pretty awesome.
That's incredible, particularly in these times when everyone's struggling to do what you guys do. Like I said, once again, you're saving lives and you're saving money on top of that one. So appreciate your dedication and support.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Y'all be safe going back. The next item on the agenda is, I gotta pull these on to make sure I can read this thing correctly. Brian Haynes, meteorologist in charge, National Weather Service, Charleston. Charleston, acknowledgement of the ongoing partnership with Dorchester County Emergency Management Department, the Mesonet program. And again, I'm going to make sure that the folks that are doing this, not county council, are down there with y'all, not us. So,
Thank you, council members. Thank you for having us this evening. My name is Brian Haynes. I'm the meteorologist in charge of the National Weather Service in Charleston, South Carolina. I have Ron Morales, who's the warning coordination meteorologist at the National Weather Service with me in Charleston, South Carolina. And if we go to the next slide, please, I want to remind everybody about Hurricane Debbie. And my office that I'm in charge of, we put out the severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, flash flood warnings for the Tri-County area all the way down to Savannah. And we're talking about today the flash flood warnings and all of the flooding that occurred with Hurricane or Tropical Storm Debbie. I'm sure we all remember Tropical Storm Debbie. The area was ravaged by Tropical Storm Debbie with 15 to 25 inches across Dorchester County to Moncks Corner, which produced catastrophic flooding with a flash flood emergency in effect. And I'm here today to say thank you to Dorchester County Emergency Management for their outstanding partnership, for their outstanding efforts in helping us meet our mission, which is the protection of life and property for all citizens of South Carolina and Georgia. And one of the things that Dorchester County Emergency Management has played a pivotal role for us is where rainfall occurs and how we measure it. Dorchester County Emergency Management has worked tirelessly with us to install 6 Mesonet sensors. So these sensors measure rainfall in various locations across Dorchester County. And to put in perspective, there's 6 locations. There's Somerville, Ridgeville, St. George, Harleyville, Ravenel, and North Charleston. And during Tropical Storm Debbie, we were able to get accurate measurements, a gold standard in temporal resolution and spatial resolution of where rainfall occurred. And if we go to the next slide, please, this is the Ashboro neighborhood, and this is the Ashley River in major flood. And one of the things that is really important to us is how can we continue to refine our forecast to continue to enhance and protect the lives and citizens, in particular in this audience in Dorchester County. And I just want to say a special thank you to Tom McNeil, his team. Thanks to his efforts in installing 6 Mesonets across Dorchester County, we're able to continue to refine and enhance our messaging, our warnings, not only along the Ashley River, the Edisto River, and provide that top-notch guidance so then we can inform the citizens of Dorchester County. Tom and his team can inform the citizens of Dorchester County where flooding is occurring. If you remember during the Orangeburg heavy rainfall event now, less than about 6 months ago, that rain, all of that rain fell into the Edisto Basin and worked its way down the Edisto River. Whereas with the census, we're able to actually determine that, for example, Four Hole Swamp wasn't infected, meaning the Ashley River wasn't going to flood. So these are the type of partnerships that are critical for us in helping protect lives, save property. And I'm just here to say thank you so much to Dorchester County Emergency Management, Tom and his team. We couldn't have done it without you. It's a great partnership, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Tom, you want to come up here there's more of that team in the back that, if Tom's not going to invite you, I will. And Mario Formasano.
We'll give you a picture. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Excellent work, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, now the exciting part of the agenda that everybody's waiting for. We're going to, I'll invite Ms. Denise Christmas, Deputy Administrator, Chief Financial Officer, for presentation of the January 2025 monthly budget report, and followed by Mr. Adam Davis, Deputy Administrator for Operations, Ms. Sunshine Tracus, Transportation Development Manager, and Mr. Larry Harper, Director of Water and Sewer, in no particular order.
Our stuff is exciting too.
Numbers are exciting. Okay. I'll be quick since y'all are so excited. General fund. This report you have in front of you is through February 13th, but I did a little updating on my own because I like numbers and I like larger numbers in revenue. So your report shows 75.2% of revenue, of tax revenue collected through February 13th, but actually we've collected 86% of our tax revenue. So we're sitting at about 46.5 million in tax revenue in the general fund instead of 40.7. So that brings our total of revenue collected in our general fund to about 66.4 million. And our expenditures are about 56.2 million. So we're about 10%, we've collected about 10% more in revenue than we've spent to date. That's the general fund. The library fund has collected about 86% also of property taxes, and they should, of course, be about the same percentage per fund that millage is assessed. So total revenues collected for the library fund are around $4.4 million, and expenditures are 2.7. And moving on to the capital fund, we have collected about $6 million of our $11.5 million budget, and we have spent about 3.4 million. So that puts us under budget this year at this time during the year, which is about 66% of the year expended. The fire fund has received approximately $9.1 million of their $12.1 million budget. And I'm pretty sure they'll meet their budgeted revenue this year. They have spent 6.7 million, which is about 55.5% of their total budget, The water and sewer fund has collected 30.4 million of its 62 million. So they're sitting at about 48.8% of collections, 48.7%, sorry. And they've expended $48.4 million. So they've spent more than they've collected, but that's okay because they have the money to do that. They have fund balance available to do that. And so when they have large projects, and what I remembered is that we issued the water and wastewater bonds back in the fall, as you can recall, and it dawned on me that we have reimbursements that we need to pay ourselves back for, and at the tune of about $12.5 million. Larry, where's Larry? Is he here? Right, Larry? Yeah, okay, so the check's on the way. I got that taken care of today with Regions Bank. Stormwater Fund has collected $2.4 million of its $11.3 million budget. They've spent a little over $3 million. The Solid Waste Fund's revenues are coming in at about 35% collections, and they have spent about 32%, which is about $4 million of their $12.9 million budget. And ARPA funds. Y'all are going to be so sad when we don't talk about ARPA funds anymore, and we're almost there. So we've expended all of our funds except $4.3 million. And so all of that is obligated, committed, and/or encumbered. So it's about 87% that we've spent so far. So we're getting there. Any questions?
I know this, but I'm forgetting. When does ARPA sunset?
December 31st, 2026.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Under the capital projects report, I will start with an update on the Jedburgh Fire Station. We have reviewed the potential site with water and sewer for service. Staff will work to begin next steps for land acquisition. The law enforcement complex, a few punch items remain we plan to resolve this month. Mixed use development of 500 North Main Street. The developer continues to work to get town approval of the master plan. New coroner's office, we are waiting on the removal of the modular units. We're about 2 weeks out on that. Groundbreaking date will be confirmed along with construction commencement. Oak Brook Sports Complex, staff met with Department of Environmental Services last week to discuss restricted covenants. We have a follow-up meeting March 10th to hopefully finalize those. Engage CZC project approval. Pine Trace project timeline for completion is the end of April, pending no rain days. MUSC project in St. George, permits are underway. Staff continues to work with USDA to meet all requirements for construction approvals. Summers Corner Fire and EMS. We received the letter of determination from CZC. We expect permits to shortly follow. Notice of intent to award was issued to design build. Contract execution is under review. We did give a notice to proceed for the pre-engineered metal building last Friday due to cost increases. Somerville Library, staff was notified February the 12th that we should shortly receive the phase 1 study to review. We haven't received that. It usually takes about 2 weeks after the site visit, so we expect that any day now. Swan Drive kayak launch, we're still working through closeout and final inspections that are still ongoing. We look to button up later this month. Any questions?
I'm going to throw one out at you just based on a meeting that I think it may have just been myself and Mr. Ward in last week. One of the challenges or one of the opportunities at Pine Trace Natural Area I know that some folks were interested in was some sort of bicycle track and so forth. And one of the very interesting things we learned is one of the opportunities that we have coming forward is the Eagle Creek rehab, I think is what I would best call that ultimately. And based on the conversation with the Corps of Engineers, one of the opportunities that they noted that was the ground that we would, if we proceeded with the one side of that project that is the most logical, the removed earth is about 11 cubic yards. And that, does that sound right? 11 cubic yards? And that dirt was ideal for something along the lines of trails or bike path beds. That's exactly what they said, not having any knowledge of what had happened. So our ability to remove that potentially and reuse that within another project in the county is certainly was kind of nice to hear that possibility. Not a guarantee, but at least a possibility. Thank you.
All right.
Good evening, Mr. Ward, Mr. Chairman, and members of council. I will be providing the Public Works and Transportation updates. For First Bend Road and Rice Mill Drive, final design is, your report says 70%, but it's actually 90% complete now, and an application is being prepared for a basic infrastructure grant that's due this March. For the design build bridge replacement package, Summers Drive, Pointer Drive, and Deer Run Road right-of-way acquisition and permitting efforts continue on all 3 bridges. For Deer Run Road, we have issued an emergency procurement for the contractor to install the bridge load rating signage and temporary access road detour. The contractor is starting that work this week, and so I'll be coordinating with emergency services and the school district so they'll be aware of when to expect these traffic pattern changes. For Spring Road, after some delay due to utility relocations, the contractor remobilized in January, and they are installing drainage ditches and driveway pipes. For Maple Street widening, drainage installations continue along Maple Street from Highway 78 toward the interstate. Later this month, the contractor will be installing a 60-inch pipe crossing across North Maple Street, and it'll take about a week to complete as night work. For the Sawmill Branch Trail extension, preliminary plans were updated to avoid a 30-inch sewer force main conflict, and we have completed the hydraulic modeling. We have a meeting with the Corps to go over our modeling results in Section 408 permitting requirements this week on March 5th. For SC 27 widening, the bid package was submitted to the Economic Development Administration for approval in early January. We received comments this week, which we are addressing, and once we receive EDA approval, we will advertise the project for construction. For US Highway 78 Phase 3A, right-of-way acquisition, utility coordination, and final plan development continue. For US 78 Phase 3B, the title searches are underway to start the right-of-way acquisition process, and the right-of-way agent will begin issuing initial contact letters to the property owners this month. For Central Avenue and Parsons Road improvements, field surveys were completed in January, and we are developing the concept plans that we plan to share at a public information meeting. We are targeting April 24th for that public meeting. For Dorchester Road improvements, we are working to update our traffic study to consider interchange alternatives at the Ladson Road and Old Trolley Road intersections, and concept plans are also being developed for those alternatives. For Delamar Highway improvements, field surveys and environmental field studies are underway and will continue through April. For Linger Longer Drive extension, the preliminary plans and a design field review meeting was held on January 30th, and the engineering consultant is moving forward with developing the 60% design plans. For Miles Jamison Road improvements, the field surveys and subsurface utility surveys are underway. For Orangeburg Loop, aerial mapping surveys were completed in January, and field surveys are continuing through March. For Stallsville Loop, field surveys are complete, and we are developing the preliminary plans that we plan to present to a public meeting in the next few months, and we have not determined that date yet. For US 17A widening, field surveys are underway through March. For the Village Ponds Drive temporary signal at US 17A, the notice to proceed was issued on February 10th, and construction is underway with a 30-day construction duration. All the poles and signal heads have been installed, and the signal will start flashing tomorrow. So it'll be yellow on 17A, red on Village Ponds Drive, and they'll be flashing for 7 days, and then we'll go to live activation next Tuesday. And then lastly, for Westcott Boulevard, the geotechnical field work continues this month. Are there any questions?
Yes, ma'am, if that's okay. First of all, a comment. The new transportation, the way that we're doing this new transportation pinning, as compared to the old, where we had another committee that we had to get information from in order to know what was going on with road projects, the transparency here is so much better from my standpoint. So I want to say thank you, Sunshine. I think you're doing a great job. If I ask you a question, you got an answer immediately. You already knew the answer to the question before I even asked it, so I appreciate that. It's just nice to be able to give citizens very quick answers, and I feel like we've got much more accountability and transparency, and I think these road projects are going to get much smoother because of that and because of the job you're doing, so thank you for that. I do have a question about the sawmill. You just mentioned that you are meeting with the Corps this week. So what does that mean timeline-wise-ish for construction to start?
So we do know that the 408 permitting is more of our critical time constraint. At last check, it's about a year-long process for that permitting process. We do think after the modeling is done that it's very minimal impact. So once we can understand what those requirements are and get those submitted, we'll get that permit submitted and continue through, the easement acquisition and the rest of permitting, so that hopefully in a year, and then it will be ready for construction.
So, it's a year once you submit that after this meeting? So if I go tag Elon on Twitter, can he speed this up with some Doge action at the core potentially? I mean, is that something you would said? I'm just kidding. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jay, I'm going to throw this one out while Larry's coming up to give us his piece of history here. The meetings that I've had the opportunity in the Corps recently with a bunch of things, our local Corps has been incredible to work with and working with trying to push things through, giving us very good advice, telling us this makes sense, this doesn't make sense. So I'm really pleased. I had a conversation with a couple of the civil servants with the Corps just Saturday, basically. And they were appreciative of the work that we have done together on a lot of projects. So that certainly can't hurt.
Absolutely. No, thank you for that input.
Greetings, Council. As the sun rose over Fort McHenry after a 25-hour bombardment by the British Navy, the 30-foot by 42-foot 15 Stars and Stripes was seen flying over Fort McHenry by Francis Scott Key. Using his envelope in his pocket, he penned a poem, The Defense of Fort McHenry, which includes the words, "Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave." On this day, March 3rd, 1931, the Star-Spangled Banner was officially adopted as the national anthem. So it's Star-Spangled Banner Day. So we'll go through these projects very quickly. Phase 2, Stratton Capers. Contractors currently working to install those water lines along Barrett Street. We've actually did a revision to the plans to allow additional 235 feet to that line so that the total line will be 8 inches as opposed to reducing down to 6 inches. The second phase of the Stratton 2 project is actually waiting on permitting. For the regional water interconnection phases 1 and 2, project is ready for bids once the remaining permits have been received. I can report that we've actually received all the permits. Easement acquisition is almost complete. We've actually filing all the condemnations. For DSS, the Pump Station 4 project, Phase 1 contract is scheduled to start start this month, March. Phase 2 is currently ready to be posted. Once we have finalized those remaining easements through filing through condemnation. For the Hollyville Pump Station enforcement reversal, pump station location's been finalized. We're working on the final purchase of the property. The owner of the property asked us to shift the site about 25 feet to accommodate him. For the Highway 15 to 26 interchange, project design is ongoing. We're currently discussing a potential change order design from the engineer. From Highway 5178, waterline extension, we actually received an RIA grant. RIA grant has been awarded, and we're just waiting on the permits from the agencies. Lower Dorchester wastewater treatment plant expansion to 26. We are actually at 36% complete, according to the latest pay application. We've got 4 important activities. All buildings are actually under construction in some way or the other, including the thickening building, maintenance building, pretreatment building, electrical building, UV structure, aeration basin, secondary clarifiers, and these will continue through the summer. For Maple Street relocates, the project has been requested for a permit to operate, and once received, the contractor will be installing the services for those properties that were affected. Pecan Tree Site Extension, waiting to receive railroad permits, doing the continuing site coordination with the project teams. Poplar Grove to Red Top, contractor is mobilized on site, clearing and grubbing activities is underway. I'm very excited about that. Pump Station 72 upgrade, our project is actually about 87% complete. Pump station startup has actually occurred. It was scheduled for February 11th, but we've actually completed that. And once we put that pump station online, the contractor would demob and demolish the existing pump station to complete the remaining site work. Pump Station 10, influent rehabilitation. We've collected the data. We're working on the projects now. For Pump Station 20, force main rediversion, we've actually held a RIA project kickoff, waiting to get our CZC and core and SDOT permits. Reevesville Waterline, the design is ongoing. We've reached a 60% design on that project. For Shady Grove, 178 aerial force main and pump station, 85% complete. We're also exploring a couple of alternative layouts for the pump station for efficiency. Sweetbriar subdivision, we actually received a total of 4 bids. Lowest bid was $491,030 from Babcock Construction. The project has been awarded, contract executed, and you might actually see some construction out there. For the waterline replacement in Pepper Ridge, we've reached a 30% design on that. Water main extension to the DC Korean Technical Center in Hollyville Middle Schools. Contractors installed 4,185 feet of 12-inch water line. That testing has been performed. Matter of fact, we have actually passed both the back T test and actually requested permit to operate for that. Winding Woods Reach, we've got a PTO finally for the tank. We've actually started monitoring flushing. Just as an update, both the tank and the reach itself have actually received final PTO. Actually, we've begun connection of Port 95 properties out there. So they were being moved to Lake Marion water. So with that, completes my report. Any questions?
Only just a quick correction. I think you meant to 16 million gallons. You may have said a little bit more than that.
It's actually 16 million, sir. Wish I had more.
We wish.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is County Administrator's time. Mr. Jason Ward.
Mr. Chairman and Council, I know typically during correspondence, we provide you with information about different things that have transpired since the last meeting. I did want to indicate, in the spirit of cooperation, that we met with Wendy Boswell, who's the Deputy Director for the Low Country Beaufort Charleston Bureau of Regional and Laboratory Services with the Department of Environmental Services. Say that fast, Mr. Hearn. And that is important because they are responsible for several different things. Over the reports tonight, you've heard coastal zone consistency. You've heard about other permits through DES, formerly DHEC. So we were fortunate. We met with the Beaufort Charleston manager for CZC as well, Mr. Chris Stout. We met with Mr. Ben Thiepot, I think I said that correctly, Adam, who is the manager who works under Mr. Stout for projects, as well as Catherine Silva. And then finally, we met with Ashley Arbach. And it's important that we bring those things out for a couple of different reasons. One particular location, and she left. I was hoping she was going to still be here. One particular location that we were looking to address with respect to permitting dealing with dust and particulate is 818 Central Avenue. Coordination with enforcement as well in terms of code enforcement was also an exchange of information about our people who are responsible for that as well as their folks. That directly related to abandoned boats. So the boats that we've had at the different locations, Councilman Friddle will now be able to address those not only with our staff, but also with DES. In terms of coastal zone consistency, one of our challenges has been is the critical line is Bacon's Bridge Road. So we talked with them about how we can work to resolve permitting beyond the critical line. And so I wanted to bring that up because this was kind of an unprecedented meeting. Everything from food services being transferred to the Department of Agriculture, all the way through to us being able to talk about specific locations for public health. So I wanted to mention that because I think sometimes there are questions about coordination occurring between the county and Department of Environmental Services, formerly DHEC. But I can share with you that this was kind of an unprecedented meeting for us to talk about those things with them. And then they also asked for our assistance in terms of enforcement as well. So we've exchanged contact information with all of our officials as well as theirs to improve that relationship. And we'll be having individual follow-up meetings so that we can improve our coordination.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ward, just a question, just to follow up. Do you think that the restructuring of now DES has assisted in being able to?
I think it has. I think separating public health from environmental services was important, but I also think moving certain functions out to the Department of Agriculture was also an important step. But again, I really want to express that having a meeting with them here at the Human Services Building, they came to us out of Beaufort, out of Charleston, other locations where their offices are, was something they initiated. And so we'll be able to now use their permitting program and fast track projects when we need to fast track those projects, as well as reporting that needs to occur, everything from situations with failing septic systems, again, to the things I've already mentioned with respect to air quality.
Thank you.
All right. I apologize, Mr. Chairman, but I thought it was important to share that information as I did not during correspondence. I have one item for your consideration, and that is a motion to the Planning Commission to consider the renaming of Beach Hill Alley to Bryant Park Alley. And that was at the request of Councilman Byers that this be considered along with the citizens in the ponds, and that is our recommendation.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman,
Byers.
thank y'all for entertaining this. This was a request from residents of the ponds. Just everybody up here knows the work that Chuck Bryant has done for that community to try to really make things better. And also, we discussed in our last meeting about his diagnosis with prostate cancer, which looks going to be a challenge for him. So they really wanted to do something to honor him, and this is a good opportunity to do it. And this particular road circles a park, and it doesn't really affect any mailing addresses, so it's not really doing anything that's going to change anyone's life from a standpoint of having to change their mailing address and call everybody in the family and tell them to change their Christmas card list. This is going to be pretty easy. So it's a great way to honor Chuck, and certainly appreciate the community asking us to do that, and I'm happy to support that. I believe firmly in it. I would appreciate y'all's consideration.
Any other comments? There was a motion and a second. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous. Next item on the agenda is committee reports. Mr. Crosby?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Earlier this evening, the PDB took 4 items for public hearing and vote, and if it is amenable to my colleagues on the dais, I will take all 4 up as they were all unanimous.
No opposition, sir.
Fantastic. So earlier this evening, there was a public hearing, a recommendation for second reading regarding rezoning request number 926 for Jake Benery to rezone 13.84 acres located off Highway 78 near Ridgeville, TMS number 098-00-00-090 from agricultural residential district AR to commercial light industrial district CLI. That was unanimous. Public hearing recommendation for, or unanimous in favor, just to clarify for all these. Public hearing recommendation for second reading regarding rezoning request number 927 for George Tupper III to rezone 6.26 acres located on 754 Orangeburg Road near Somerville, TMS number 144-00-00-038 and -178 from single-family residential district R2 to neighborhood commercial district CN. That also was unanimous. Continuing, Public hearing and recommendation for second reading regarding rezoning request number 928 for Janet Lieber to rezone 2.12 acres located at Highway 78 near Ridgefield, TMS number 098-00-00-240 from agricultural residential district AR to commercial light industrial district CLI. That was also approved unanimously. And then finally, a request to approve a roadway connection to Beverly Drive for Bowman Consulting Group, LTI. There was a motion approved for an encroachment resolution to be amended to add, Mr.
So,
Weaver?
yes, Mr. Crosby, so I think what happened was, it was with the caveat that the improvements that may be required due to any damage during construction would be handled during the encroachment permit process.
Thank you for the clarification. Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
You've heard the recommendation of the committee. All in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Next committee report this evening was from Mr. Hearn for the Public Works, Property, and Utilities Committee meeting. Mr. Hearn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This afternoon, after the PDB committee, the Public Works, Property, and Utilities Committee met, we had one item on the agenda. It was for recommendation of a second reading of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances, Dorchester County, South Carolina, by deleting Chapter 36, Article 6, Section 36-180, subsection A, subsection 1, and substituting in lieu thereof a new Section 36-180, subsection A, subsection 1, as to clarify the applicability, my goodness, of the stormwater utility fee to parcels of land containing one or more single-family residential structures, and the vote was unanimous in favor.
You've heard the recommendation of the committee. All in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, do you have a report from the Water and Sewer Committee meeting?
She didn't need that. I asked her that. Yes, ma'am. Immediately after the Public Works, Property, and Utility Committee, the Water and Sewer Committee met as a committee of the whole. We met for a request for approval of a new sewer service by Lennar Carolinas for mixed-use development located on Dorchester Road in the town of Somerville, and it received unanimous approval.
You heard the recommendation of the committee. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is appointments to boards and commissions.
Hey, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Byers.
I got a few. All right, so I'd like to reappoint Mr. Mike Monti to the Dorchester County Drug and Alcohol Commission. He's been serving for a while. His term has expired, and I would like to reappoint him. Mike does a great job for that committee. You want me to do them all at once?
You want to do them all at once?
I don't think I got anybody too contentious. Well, I don't know. All right, and then I'll, if you decide to pull one out, y'all let me know. Mr. Randy Patrick, I would like to appoint Mr. Randy Patrick to the County Transportation Commission. Randy has served previously with our DCTA. Randy is an experienced civil engineer, understands road work, and is a fine Clemson man. My last appointee would be for Mr. Ryan Castle to be appointed to the Trident Tech Commission to represent Dorchester County. Mr. Castle is a longtime Somerville resident, very interested in serving on that committee, and I think would do a good job for us with our recent passing of Mary. That's all I have for this evening, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the recommendations.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion? I think the only thing that I may want to discuss there is very briefly, and it's probably not, I don't know that we made a big deal about that, and we will do that upcoming here. Mr. Marion Thompson, and I'm not entirely certain, I was told that Mr. Thompson had been appointed by then Representative Tom Limehouse to serve on the Trident Tech Commission before they turned it over to County Council to make those appointments. So I can't tell you how long Mr. Thompson had
Greater than
served.
35 years, it's somewhere like 37, 38 years.
But he was an integral piece to tech. If you didn't know that, you probably learned it there, probably very late in there. I know that Anita Zucker, who was the chair of that group, very dependent on him. Mr. Thompson knew that he was not doing well, and he had passed on some of his chairmanship responsibilities, some of the ultimate committees to Joe Danning and work with Joe to get all that stuff done. So certainly appreciate the service that he had given to Dorchester County and to Trident Tech, and we will certainly miss his passing. And Mr. Castle has big shoes to fill, and we expect great things and hold his feet to that fire. So all in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Any other appointments to boards and commissions?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hearn.
Let's see, I have two this evening. Ms. Bally Cuthbert to the Dorchester County Drug and Alcohol Commission, and Ms. Catherine Brownlee to the Conservation and Greenbelt Committee. These are both reappointments.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous. Are there any other appointments to boards and commissions? The clerk is going to call you up if you're missing anybody. So she may do that at 3 o'clock in the morning, just to be very. Next item on the agenda is County Attorney's time. Mr. John Frampton. Mr. Frampton.
Chairman, first I have a request for executive session regarding 3 contractual matters. The first being a proposed amendment to the Cedar Street Extension Project IGA agreement with the town of Somerville. The second being a sewer service agreement between Stream Realty Acquisition LLC and Dorchester County. And the third being a potential representation agreement between the county and a law firm.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are in executive session. If you'd like to hang out, hopefully we will be out soon. Drive safe. I got it now. Mr. Friend, will you take us out of executive
Yes, sir,
session?
Mr. Chairman, executive session, council discussed the previously announced 3 contractual matters, but no action was taken.
Are there any motions? Mr. Friddle?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that county council authorize the county administrator to execute the sewer service agreement between Stream Realty Acquisition LLC and Dorchester County for TMS number 11000000022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous. Are there any other motions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Hearn?
I would move that county council authorize the county administrator to execute the representation agreement between Dorchester County and UPF Litigators LLC and Murphy Cranford Meehan to pursue any possible claims as more particularly set forth in that agreement.
There is a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous. Are there any other motions?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hearn?
Thank you. I would move that county council authorize the county administrator to execute an amendment to the Cedar Street Extension Project IGA with the town of Somerville to allow Berkeley County to manage that project and to provide an additional $115,000 to complete $115,000, to complete right-of-way acquisition for 5 parcels of property in Dorchester County.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous. Are there any further motions?
Motion to adjourn.
There is a motion to
Second.
adjourn and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.